So we think there's a decent chance that there is intelligent life in our galaxy. So why don't we just kind of observe the skies and look for odd radio signals that we can't explain except by aliens? So you've got SETI, and SETI stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So they're not looking for spectral signatures of life at all, they are looking for signals. SETI has been operating for quite a long time, decades, and there are no confirmed detections yet of any intelligent signals coming from space. SETI has far too much information and not enough computing power, so they have a program called SETI at Home that you can download, and whenever you have extra CPU power that your computer's not using, this would run in the background and help process the data and then send it back to SETI. SETI actively sent out a message to a globular cluster, which is a cluster of stars in our galaxy, but it's not in the disk, it's above the disk. So here's the SETI signal, and here's the breakdown of it, and if you kind of want to go through and look at it, feel free to hit pause or just look it up on the internet. We've also sent out a couple of physical messages, but they would obviously travel much slower than the speed of light. And to put that in miles per hour, that might be 30 to 50,000 miles per hour. And those speeds might seem quite fast, but because the stars are so far away, it would take 100,000 years for these plaques on our probes to even just get to the nearest stars, let alone get any further. So here's an image of the plaque that was put on Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11. And here's a picture of a record that was put on Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. And all four of these probes are heading out of the solar system. And now we've got a new one also heading out called New Horizons. The one that just swung by Pluto, it will also be exiting the solar system. Now to cover the last section in the book, the difficulties of interstellar travel. And I couldn't help myself, I had to put this up here, which is basically why I'm not afraid of aliens. Interstellar travel is unbelievably hard. We have pretty powerful engines as modern humans, but if you wanted to get to the nearest stars in 50 years, you would need far more powerful engines, and we don't have that kind of technology. In order to power those engines, you would need huge amounts of energy, so you would need a very efficient fuel source. And hopefully it'd be an energy source that you could refuel along the way. And so hopefully something bountiful and plentiful in the universe, maybe hydrogen fusion. And so if you're trying to get to another star in 50 years, 100 years, you're going to be traveling at a decent fraction of the speed of light. And then you'll be ramming into just all the little particles out in space. So you would be bombarded with high energy radiation. So you'd have to be well shielded. Also, if you travel near the speed of light, your time slows down, which would basically appear to you like traveling into the future. The rest of the universe ages faster than you do. So that could be tricky if you wanted to stay in touch with anybody on Earth that you were leaving behind. So there's the idea that communications would be incredibly hard, but also the idea that maybe you've only been gone for a year, but you know that everybody you left behind has already aged and died, and so you're kind of left with that emptiness. So just between the engines and the energy and the time dilation and the radiation, interstellar space travel seems really difficult. You could jump into science fiction and try to dream up wormholes or faster than light travel, but as far as science knows right now, that's fiction. The last thought experiment that we're going to do is called Fermi's paradox. And Enrico Fermi was talking with some colleagues, and at some point he said that even if life is really rare, maybe 1 in a million stars end up developing a civilization, surely some of them would spread out through space and multiply and then spread out further through space. So you would imagine then that with time, that the whole galaxy could be filled up with their colonies. And so, where are they? Right? So the universe is 14 billion years old. There has been enough time for a intelligent civilization to develop and spread across the whole galaxy, and you only need one civilization to be able to do that. Okay? So here's some possible solutions, and we don't know the answer. Maybe we actually are alone. Maybe we are the only intelligent life in the universe. Right? We have no idea. Right? Maybe life or civilizations are actually quite common, but the difficulties for interstellar travel is intimidating and overwhelming. And so everybody just kind of chooses to stay in their own star system. Another possibility is once the civilization gets advanced enough, they end up destroying themselves. And 3, maybe there is a galactic-wide civilization and we just haven't met them yet. Maybe they're not in our part of the galaxy. Maybe there's a prime directive and they're not allowed to contact us. Right? You're just kind of thinking about the possibilities here. And with that, we are done with chapter 19. Bye.